It's Germany's deadliest contribution to the war in Ukraine, and it's got Russian pilots, drone operators, and generals losing sleep. The IRIS-T, a German-engineered missile monster with a near-perfect kill rate. So precise, so reliable, it's rewriting what air defense means in modern war. While Russian drones and cruise missiles rain down terror, the IRIS-T is vaporizing them mid-air, one by one, with clinical efficiency. It's not just leveling the playing field, it's tilting it. So how is it doing the impossible? What makes this system so lethal, and what's the secret behind its 100% hit record? Let's dive in. The IRIS-T air defense system consists of multiple key components: a command post or tactical operations center, a radar system such as the TRML-4D, several surface-launched missile (SLM) launchers, and the IRIS-T SLM interceptors themselves, tail-thrust vector-controlled missiles equipped with infrared imaging guidance. The first IRIS-T air-to-air missiles were launched in 2005, but it took another 10 years for the first IRIS-T surface-to-air defense systems to arrive. The first was the IRIS-T SLS, a short-range defense system first fielded in 2015. Developed throughout the late 1990s and early 2000s by a German-led program, IRIS-T missiles were originally intended to replace American AIM-9 Sidewinder missiles. They were designed in such a way that any aircraft capable of firing Sidewinders could also be equipped with IRIS-Ts, removing the need for costly development of a whole new jet. 7 years later, in 2022, the year Russia invaded Ukraine, the next-level system came into action. The medium-range IRIS-T SLM, a surface-launched missile air defense system that has become an invaluable tool for Ukrainian forces to take out Russian aircraft, drones, and missiles. The IRIS-T SLM is just one part of the larger family of IRIS-T air-to-air and short-to-medium-range surface-to-air missiles, also known under the name AIM-2000. Combined, they boast a near 100% hit rate based on comments by those who actually use them. It's a hit rate Russia can only dream of. Here's a closer look at how it works. The IRIS-T air-to-air missile has an operational range of about 15.5 miles and can reach speeds of up to Mach 3, 3 times the speed of sound. While its maximum altitude isn't officially published, it far exceeds that of ground-launched variants. In comparison, the IRIS-T SLS surface-launched short-range version offers a range of roughly 7.5 miles and can engage targets at altitudes of up to 5 miles, making it effective against low to medium altitude threats. The SLS system features missiles mounted on trucks like the Iveco Eurocargo 4x4, offering excellent mobility. It can quickly be redeployed in key strategic locations across the battlefield, and the missiles boast infrared tracking capabilities, so they can lock onto multiple targets, pursue them with incredible accuracy, and strike with deadly force. Even fast-moving targets are not immune to the IRIS-T SLS, and it integrates very well with Ukraine's existing air defense systems and equipment, allowing for rapid, efficient deployment as and when required. The IRIS-T SLM air defense system takes things up a notch with more firepower and greater range. It uses advanced IRIS-T SL missiles and can strike targets at a range of up to 40 kilometers or 25 miles, with a ceiling of up to 20 kilometers or 12 miles. The system is made up of several key components. Those include a tactical operations center, a logistical support unit, multiple radar units, and either 3 or 4 missile trucks, with multiple missiles affixed to those trucks. The system also boasts seamless compatibility with a wide range of radar and infrared guidance systems, including the Thales Groundmaster 200 MMC, the Hensoldt TRML-4D, and the Saab Giraffe 4A. The system is designed to counter various forms of aerial threats, which can include fighter jets, drones, cruise missiles, and even helicopters. It uses infrared imaging to track and engage its targets with exceptional levels of precision, and it boasts multi-target engagement capabilities, meaning it can track and fire upon multiple threats at the same time, with 360-degree protection. A total of 24 missiles can be launched at once from each system, so even sizable drone swarms and jet squadrons can be targeted and taken down with the help of the IRIS-T SLM. As for the missiles themselves, the IRIS-T SLM is equipped with the aforementioned IRIS-T SL missiles, which are effectively new and improved editions of the classic IRIS-T air-to-air missile. Developed for tactical air defense by the Bundeswehr and approved for use in 2017, these missiles come with a stronger rocket motor, allowing them to strike targets much further away. They also feature a data link and GPS-powered navigation system, which allows precise remote control operations from the dedicated combat center. The SL missiles also feature a pointed nose to help reduce drag and increase speed. Thanks to this, the missiles can reach the staggering speeds of Mach 3, which is more than 3,375.9 feet per second, so they can easily catch up with even the fastest-moving targets. Of course, all those stats don't mean much on paper if real-world performance fails to produce the right results. Fortunately, tests and actual usage of the IRIS-T air defense systems have proven them to be extraordinarily effective. Indeed, the producers of the system claim they have a 95% accuracy rate, successfully striking the vast majority of targets. But reports from the Ukrainian front line present an even more positive picture. On October 24, 2022, Prime Minister of Ukraine Denis Shmyhal stated that the German IRIS-T system had the best hit rate of any system at the disposal of the armed forces of Ukraine, and that it was capable of destroying 9 of every 10 Russian missiles. Shortly after that, following a Russian missile attack against Ukraine on October 31, 2022, the Ukrainian Air Force said the missiles had proven 100% effective. In a TV interview, Ukrainian Air Force spokesman Yuri Inat said, "We ask and continue to call on the world to provide Ukraine with weapons. We need air defense means, particularly those we have mentioned before. IRIS-T, this system works, and it worked today, showing 100% effectiveness." By June of 2024, CEO of Diehl Defense Helmut Rauch reported that IRIS-T SLS and SLM systems had racked up 240 kills in Ukraine since their deployment, with a near-perfect success rate. And there are numerous battlefield videos taken and shared by Ukrainian forces that back up these claims, showing the IRIS-T missiles taking off and intercepting Russian drones, missiles, and other aerial forces with ruthless precision and maximum efficiency. And it's not just in their reliability and accuracy that these systems excel. They offer numerous other key advantages to help strengthen Ukrainian defenses. First, they're highly maneuverable. Even the larger and more complex IRIS-T SLM system can be easily redeployed and maneuvered around to different strategic locations as the war progresses. This is so important at a time when Ukraine is fighting on numerous fronts and having to defend large parts of its international border with Russia. If its air defense systems were difficult to move around, they could easily be targeted by Russian bombers or missile strikes, and they wouldn't be able to have as much of an impact on the whole, since they'd only be able to strike in limited areas. The systems are astonishingly effective too, and capable of taking out almost all forms of aerial threat, like cruise missiles, drones, jets, and more. No matter what Russia sends into the skies over Ukraine, the IRIS-T systems have the power to take it down, and each successful blow represents a victory, as many of Russia's jets, drones, and missiles are very expensive to make. Cruise missiles can cost millions of dollars, for example, while drones can either cost tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, in the case of the more advanced units. Each one blown out of the sky is a huge amount of money lost to the Russian war effort. There's also the fact that these systems have been designed to be highly compatible and easy to both operate and integrate with other systems. Thanks to that, when Ukraine receives new IRIS-T SLMs or SLS units, it can put them to work more or less right away, without lengthy delays or periods in which it has to configure them correctly or spend weeks training operators to use them. Many of these IRIS-T systems have arrived in Ukraine throughout the war. As of May 2025, Germany has delivered a total of 10 IRIS-T air defense systems, both SLS and SLM variants, according to the German Ministry of Defense. Berlin has committed to supplying 12 IRIS-T SLS systems and another 12 IRIS-T SLMs. All IRIS-T batteries provided to Ukraine are equipped with the Airbus Forteon IBMS-FC fire control system and the Hensoldt TRML-4D radar. And supplies have ramped up in recent times. In February 2025, Germany announced plans to supply approximately 100 more missiles to the Ukrainian war effort. Then on March 9, 2025, the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Diehl Defense, the German company that manufactures the IRIS missiles and systems. Ukraine's Defense Minister Rustem Umerov announced the agreement on social media, stating, "Signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the company Diehl Defense, manufacturer of the IRIS-T system, which is an important part of the anti-aircraft shield of Ukraine. Protection of Ukrainian skies and cities is our priority. The signed agreement opens the way to large industrial projects that will allow strengthening the capabilities of Ukrainian air defense. The memorandum also provides for an increase in the supply of missiles and air defense systems to 3 times. Thank you, Diehl Defense, for your trust and willingness to cooperate. It's important that the leading world defense companies take a step towards Ukraine. The free world is on our side, and together we discover new opportunities to strengthen defense." Umerov's statement suggests that the IRIS-T agreement could pave the way for more large-scale projects and investments into Ukraine's air defense capabilities, and several other countries have followed Germany's example. Earlier this year, for example, the United Kingdom and Ukraine announced the launch of a collaborative effort that will supply 5,000 lightweight multi-role missiles to Ukraine, along with all necessary technologies to produce more. French company Thales is backing the project, with funding provided by the UK government agency UK Export Finance. This is all good news for Ukraine and bad news for Russia, which has come to rely heavily on aerial bombardments and attacks in Ukraine. Indeed, if we look back at the early days of the war and the statistics around drone and missile attacks, the numbers were relatively low. In 2022, months passed with only dozens of Russian drone strikes, or even fewer in some cases. The war back then was much more conventional, dominated by artillery strikes, tanks, and trenches. Now it's much different, and far more drone-dependent. Again, the stats demonstrate this effectively, with the number of Russian drone strikes in 2022 being around 2,600, rising to 4,700 in 2023, and then a whopping 13,800 in 2024. In 2025, some months have seen 2,000 drone strikes or more. As a result, drones now account for the vast majority of casualties on the Ukrainian side too. Around 70% of all deaths and injuries, in fact, are from drone attacks, and there are many horrific stories of Ukrainian and Russian soldiers hearing the distinctive buzz of drones overhead, unable to flee or hide as the small but deadly devices hone in on their location, nose dive to the ground, and explode in a ball of fire and shrapnel. It's a whole new form of warfare that Ukraine has had to adapt to, presenting terrifying challenges for all. To hide or shelter from more conventional weapons, soldiers could typically take refuge in tanks or other armored vehicles, knowing they were relatively safe. Now with drones overhead, those same vehicles transform from safe havens to huge targets, and operators can easily pilot their drones to hit weak points of vehicles, obliterating them in an instant, and killing or injuring all those on board. There's no hiding from the drones, and with many able to travel hundreds of miles, even those deep inside Ukrainian territory are no longer safe. Maps of Russian drone strike targets show that while many occur along the front lines, hundreds more happen further inland, with even big cities that might otherwise feel safe and secure regularly coming under fire. And Russia knows how effective its drone attacks are. That's why it's been investing heavily in ramping up drone production and strengthening its arsenal with more advanced drone technologies. It's purchased vast quantities of Iranian Shahed 136 or 131 drones, as well as built a massive new drone production facility in the Alabuga Special Economic Zone. Reports suggest that this drone factory, already in operation, has likely surpassed its initial goal of producing 6,000 Shahed-style drones by September 2025, and is expected to manufacture other drone models alongside the Shaheds. But building the drones is only one part of the equation. Russia is also training record numbers of drone operators, taking all necessary steps to make its drone army bigger, better, and more effective. And it clearly intends to lean on a drone-centric strategy in the next stages of the war effort. It's even looking into ways to integrate emerging AI technologies into its latest drone models, giving them new autonomous abilities, like the power to fly on preset routes and strike targets without even needing any human pilot or manual operation whatsoever. Fortunately for Ukraine, the German IRIS-T air defense systems provide an invaluable and stalwart line of defense against the ever-growing Russian drone threat. If Ukraine can continue to receive these systems along with the missiles needed to power them, it will be able to stop large numbers of Russian drones and missiles before they reach their targets. Ukraine could, for example, deploy IRIS-T systems in key locations like big cities, border towns, or other strategic spots near the front lines, ready and waiting to fire on any drones, jets, or missiles that come into range. With their impressive success rate and unmatched levels of reliability, the systems will continue to safeguard entire regions, protecting valuable resources and infrastructure, and saving innumerable lives every time they activate. At the same time, for all the advantages that the IRIS-T air defense systems deliver, they aren't enough to protect Ukraine from all aerial threats on their own. The country has numerous other weapons and defensive systems at its disposal, many of which have been supplied by other important allies all around the world, including the United States. It has Patriot missile systems, for example, as well as NASAMS and S-300 systems, which can all prove useful in intercepting Russian missiles and blowing drones out of the sky. It also regularly deploys short-range air defense systems and mobile units in and around important locations like cities with high civilian populations or bases with key military infrastructure. Plus, Ukraine boasts both air and ground-based missile interception systems, including fighter jets that are capable of tracking and blasting missiles in mid-air, preventing catastrophic damage and loss of life on the ground. The country is also working on advanced anti-drone technology, with specialized electronic warfare systems that are capable of jamming Russian drone signals, preventing them from communicating with their operators, and effectively putting them out of action before they're able to reach their targets and deal any damage. Ukraine has also adapted its tactics to counter the increasing aerial threat Russia poses. It uses radar and satellite intelligence systems to detect incoming attacks and issue early warnings to civilians and troops, giving them time to prepare, flee, and take shelter as needed. It has additionally adopted a decentralized air defense strategy. That means instead of setting up air defense equipment in fixed positions, Ukraine regularly moves its systems and equipment around from place to place, which mitigates the risk of Russia bombing its systems and wiping out its defensive capabilities. Through these tactics and technologies, combined with the invaluable support and intelligence of its allies, Ukraine has been consistently able to fend off a large part of Russia's aerial attacks. Many lives have been saved this way, and the IRIS-T systems have played their part in that as well. However, the many systems and air defense strategies of the Ukrainian armed forces are not infallible. Now and then, missiles and drones and other aerial threats from the Russian side do find their way through Ukrainian defenses and successfully strike their targets. Indeed, headlines have been regularly dominated by reports of Russian drone or missile attacks on Ukrainian soil, with soldiers and civilians losing their lives, historic buildings reduced to rubble, neighborhoods decimated, and nothing but destruction left behind. In the early hours of May 7th, for example, Russia launched missiles and drones at Kyiv, striking several residential buildings, killing 2 people and injuring 8 more, including several children. Just days earlier on May 4th, another drone strike on Kyiv left 11 people injured again, with child victims and extensive damage to a local shopping mall. Other attacks have much higher numbers of casualties, like the one on April 23, 2025, in the city of Marinets in the Dnipropetrovsk region, not far from the occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. A bus transporting civilian workers was targeted by a Russian drone which exploded, killing 9 and wounding more than 40 others. In February 2025, meanwhile, Russia launched its biggest drone attack of the war so far. Explosions rang out across the country in locations like Kyiv and Odessa, causing death, injury, and widespread